Hi everybody, welcome back to Crafted by Corie. Let's go ahead and get right into the crafting. DIY number 1. For this project, I have a little candy dish from the Dollar Tree. I've got my yellow Sunny Porch chalk paint by Home Decor. I have 3 of these candlestick holders from the Dollar Tree. I had already glued a couple of them together when I was planning for a wedding that was supposed to take place and then COVID hit. So these have been repurposed for other projects in the meantime. So I am using my E6000 along with some hot glue for the immediate hold to add that third one on there. And now I'm going to prep my little candy bin and give it a good couple of coats of the Sunny Porch chalk paint. So once that is all done and dry, I'm coming in with my little LED light from the Dollar Tree, and it has a twist off base, and I was just trying to figure out whether I was going to be able to get it out of there once I had secured it, because I want to be able to replace the batteries in it. So I decided it was going to be possible, so I went ahead and attached it to the bottom of that candy dish. I flipped it upside down and put it on my little candlestick holders, and you can see me pressing down on it, just testing that it's going to work that way to turn my little lamp on and off. So now I'm just using the eraser end of a mechanical pencil to add little polka dots to my lampshade, because I decided it needed a little something extra. So coming through with my white chalk paint to add that on, and just setting my little shade on top. You can see how that came through. So now I have this pack of, it was a value pack of all these little wood pieces from the Dollar Tree, and I pulled out these large popsicle sticks and a few other odds and ends. So I trimmed off the ends of the popsicle sticks. Now I'm using a regular size popsicle stick that I cut in half, and I'm just making a miniature sign using my wood glue as well as my hot glue to piece all of this together so that it'll have that long-term bond, but then I also have that immediate hold so that I can keep working with it. I went ahead and gave it a coat of my Adirondack white chalk paint and set that aside to dry. And while that's drying, I am using my little odds and ends, and I'm going to use my ARTEZA acrylic paint markers, and I am painting the little hearts white. And then I'm going to come in with my lemon yellow, and I'm going to paint this oval yellow and then come back in with black and create these fuzzy little lines across the body of, can you guess, my little bee. So I really liked how with the wood it was allowing the black to bleed a little bit. I probably had not waited until the yellow was fully dry, which probably also assisted with that, and it just made me happy because it made it look even a little bit more fuzzy, which a bee tends to be. So now I'm attaching his little heart wings to his body with some hot glue. And then I figured out where I wanted to place him on my sign, using more hot glue to secure him there. And then using my ARTEZA chalk marker, no, sorry, not my chalk paint marker, this is an acrylic paint marker, to just draw a little dotted happy on my sign, as if my little bee had been buzzing around and did an air drawing of the word happy. So once I had my sign set, I took these cute little clothespins that were also in that value pack, and I'm trying to decide where I want to hang it, what height I want to hang it at on my sign. And I'm using some Dollar Tree baker's twine, and I'm just trying to figure out the length of the twine there. And then I've started to try to tie it to my clothespins like that, and then ultimately decided it was going to be a lot easier if I just took it off and did it and then replaced it. So I tied my little string to my clothespins. I wrapped that string around the base of the lamp once just to secure it, and then I hooked everything together, and you can see my little lamp works just nicely, just popping it on and off. I love this. I hope you love it too. Please leave me a comment and let me know what you think. DIY number 2. Now, this project is actually the one that I have submitted for the Creative Champions contest that Heidi Sambal is hosting for the month of March. This is the group of awesome crafters that are participating. I am so grateful to be among them. And here are all of the projects that have been submitted. So I hope that you'll head on over to Heidi's channel and vote for me. Please, please vote for me. I would love to make it through to the next round. I hope you love this as much as I loved creating it. And DIY number 3. So this is my inspiration picture. I saw this at Michael's, I believe, and I am going to recreate it. I have some burlap. It's a burlap square that my friends at burlapfabric.com sent me. It's about 14 by 14. And then I also have the green twine that they had sent me as well. And then those little flowers I'd picked up at Michael's, and I have some Dollar Tree ribbon, which is kind of like almost like a burlap ribbon. I'm not really sure how you would categorize it, but I went ahead and pinned my little burlap square together on an angle, as you could see, and I'm coming through with an embroidery needle and my green twine, and I'm going to sew all the way down that seam. Now, at first I thought I was going to take the little wires from these flowers and tuck them through the burlap and sew them in, and ultimately I decided that was just kind of a little bit of a pain to be honest, and I decided that I was just going to go ahead and hot glue them on. And I hadn't quite decided that yet at this point, but I figured I would sew it all first, come back and add the flowers. I figured I would be able to tuck them in, but when I did go back with those wires, it was just more hassle than it was worth, and I did ultimately decide to just hot glue them. So you've got options. Once I made it down to the end, I knotted that off, and then I tucked my needle back through, and you can see I cut it off inside. That way my little end wouldn't be showing. So now I'm going to go ahead and I am just going to finish off that outer edge. Now this particular burlap already had, it was sewn around the edge so that it wouldn't fray, but I just wanted to make the edge pretty. So I'm coming around here and using a blanket stitch. And as you can see, I just stick my needle in, I come up in front of the piece that I'm holding to pretty much create a knot. So it's a really pretty basic stitch. Even if you've never sewn before, you can absolutely do this. So once I had that all finished off and pretty, I started to measure out the length of the hanger that I wanted. And I did measure it long because I planned to braid this. Now I'm using 2 of the pieces of the green twine, for lack of a better word, and then also the ribbon. And because of the width of the ribbon and the way that I decided to braid this, it ended up creating a really cool pattern, and I loved it a lot. So I just thought that was really, really neat. So coming in now with some hot glue to secure it to the inside of my little flower hanger, my blooms hanger. And now you can see here I'm coming back in with all of the flowers and hot gluing them in place. At this point, I had tried with the wire and it was really just becoming more hassle than it was worth. So I just went ahead and continued to cut those off once I had identified where I wanted to place them, and then hot gluing them into place. I also decided to add this tongue depressor stick to the back of my little blooms holder, and I am attaching it exactly to the back of where the hanger is attached on the front side. Hopefully that makes sense. I just decided I wanted it to have a little bit more stability, so when I actually put flowers into this, it wouldn't just collapse on itself. Hopefully that also makes sense. So I stuck a little bit of newspaper in the bottom just to fill it out and give it some shape. And I think this is one of the few times I'm actually not cutting my picks apart. If you watch my channel regularly, you know I tend to love to cut my picks apart, but in this instance I did leave them whole, and I am just tucking in some really pretty spring flowers. And this is the end result. I hope you love it as much as I do. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the project. Hi again. So if you are returning, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than I can tell you. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name's Corie and this is Crafted by Corie. I love doing all different kinds of DIYs and crafts, usually from the Dollar Tree. I do some thrift flips, trash to treasure, that sort of thing, generally on a budget. So I'm hoping that you will consider subscribing if you haven't already done so, and ring that bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. So let's get right back into the crafting. DIY number 4. For this project, I started out by adding a whole bunch of beads onto a couple of skewers, and I am going to be spray painting these into my little box. So I've got this really pretty, it's almost like a sky blue color of paint, and I am just spurting that on there just really lightly until I got everything covered and coated. And then for my smaller beads, I am using my Adirondack white chalk paint to give them a coat. So while all that was drying, did I just say drawing? It's late, you guys, it's been a long week. But I went ahead and prepped my little blocks, and now I am trying to come up with a paint color that is as close as possible to my spray paint color. So I've got my spray paint sitting there, and I am just trying to mix my paint to get it to the color that I want. Now, I know it doesn't look super close in color here, but wait until the end when you see it dry and the project completed, and I'd love for you to tell me if you think I got close. All right, so I am just coating one side of each of these blocks with the blue paint, just one side, and then I'll show you why in just a little bit. So I'm coming in with these stickers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm applying the word spring. So one little sticker to each block. And now I am actually going to come in with my Adirondack white chalk paint. And you can see I'm getting to the bottom of the barrel here, but I am going to cover the entire block now with the chalk paint. So I've set all of those aside to dry, and now my beads are ready to work with. So I pulled them off, and I have this blue baker's twine from the Dollar Tree. I was so excited to find this because it was a really nice big spool. I think it's like 500 feet, so really good deal. And I started stringing my beads in the pattern that I wanted to use. And now I am going to take a piece of cardboard and I'm going to create a tassel. And I'm not going to go through the whole tassel process because I'm sure a lot of people already know how to do that. I did do tassels in a previous video, however, so if you're interested in seeing that, I will share the link. But this is my inspiration picture and why I am creating these tassels. So that shot that I showed you, it was actually something that I saw at the Hobby Lobby. And I was a little frustrated with myself right here because I didn't do the top of my tassel right. So you'll definitely want to watch the other video if you want to see the proper way to do a tassel, because yeah, that little thing didn't belong up there. But at any rate, I went ahead and continued on with my project and made sure that all of my tassels were the proper shape and whatnot. And then at the end, I did want to show you this because once I knotted it off, I went ahead and tucked my needle back up through my beads. And I was struggling with it a little bit. I don't know why on this end I struggled, but you just pull your needle back up through, and then you can trim off that little tail. So then your end is tucked inside of your beads, and you don't see the little trailing end. So now I am taking my tumbling tower blocks, and this is actually something I saw my friend Maria from Maria Kuna DIY do, but she had made like a square tray. I'm making a long rectangular riser for my blocks, but it's the same type of pattern, and she was the one who gave me the inspiration. So thanks, Maria. I am using my wood glue as well as a little bit of hot glue for that immediate hold, and I'm going to put all of these together using my angle to make sure that I am actually not an angle, square, excuse me, using my square to make sure that it all stays square. Go figure. So once I had all of these put together, this is what it looked like. I was super happy with it. I decided I wanted to put some feet on it. So these little blocks are from a package, again, from the Dollar Tree. I think it was something like 50 in a pack. And now I'm doing a cheater whitewash. So I had actually wet my wood first, and then I applied some of my white chalk paint, as you saw, and I keep going back and applying a little bit more water. So adding more water, and then I'm coming in with a baby wipe and just getting it to the level, if you will, that I wanted it. So once my blocks were all dry, I came back in with my pin pen, and I am doing my best to remove these stickers. Now, these stickers, I did not realize at the time, appear to actually be paper, perhaps. And so when I painted over them, the moisture from the paint caused the sticker to remove itself from the adhesive, right? So I was able to pull up the sticker and the adhesive pretty much kind of stayed behind. So I was able to get it off pretty much, but happy accidents, right? I used my sanding block to distress everything, and it actually turned out even better than I had in mind. So once I distressed it, coming back over with a baby wipe just to clean off the dust. And here's the final project. Let me know in the comments what you think. So now it's time for a shout out timeout. So sweet, Elizabeth. I love these little butterflies, and the kitty cat's adorable too. And beautiful job, Heather. She is all set for St. Patrick's Day. What a great tiered tray. And very pretty Valerie. Valerie has been busy. Such cute projects. I would love to give you a shout out too. So if you have interest, email me at craftedbycorie@gmail.com. DIY number 5. For this project, I am starting out with some Spanish moss. I have a cute little bird's nest that I found at the Goodwill. It was originally like $8. I got it for $1. This is a little bird I've had in my stash from the Hobby Lobby for a while. I think he was originally $4, and I'm sure that I got it on sale. I usually get 50% off. Got that double candlestick holder that I was talking about before. I've got tons of those. Taking a plate from the Dollar Tree, and then those moss stones. So these are finger protectors that my sweet subscriber Sarah sent to me. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate you. She was concerned because she sees that I'm like always burning myself with hot glue because I'm really bad about wearing the finger protectors. So I am wearing these for you, Sarah. Thank you. So I had glued my candlesticks to that plate, as you saw, and now I am gluing on my little bird's nest as well. And once I have those secured, I'm going to come in with my moss. And so this Spanish moss, it didn't want to pull apart. So I ended up like cutting it with my scissors. So it all worked out in the end. But I am basically going to apply it to the entire base. So my candlestick holders are going to be completely covered with the Spanish moss. And I'm just making sure that it's all tucked in and around, and using a little bit extra hot glue here and there where necessary, just to have that completely covered. And then I covered the plate area as well, so you didn't see any of the glass or the plastic. It was all bird's nest and moss. And then I came in with some of those little moss stones to place around the bottom, just to give it a little bit more interest. And because I'm going to be coming in with some flowers in just a moment, and I wanted to have a little base where the flowers could stick out from, if that makes sense. So here I am pulling apart my little picks. This is a pick that I've had in my stash for a while that I had gotten at the Hobby Lobby. I just love these sweet little flowers. I think they are so pretty. So trimming it down to the way I want it, getting that in there. Now these little daffodils are actually from the Dollar Tree, and so I'm trimming those down, cutting down that little leaf because I decided it was longer than I wanted it to be. And I am just gluing these in and around the base. And then once I had all the flowers on that I wanted, I set my little birdie on his perch. I tucked in a little bit more of the flowers around his little nest to make him pretty. And that was really it. I love this. And here we are for the final reveal. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. I am so happy that you visited with me. I hope that you enjoyed all the projects. Please remember to go over to Heidi's channel and vote. Please vote for me. I will be so thrilled to make it to the next round. So please exercise your voting rights and put me through. And then also just a reminder that there is a link in my description box for the next video in the hop. So you'll want to make sure that you go right ahead and watch that next video. Until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care. Bye.